look, I want to just say this as a sort of a side note. We'll just go to. Some of you out there are single. I want to talk to you, all you singles, right now. It's hard being single, especially if you're not a kid, but even as a kid, it's hard being single. But as you're an adult and you don't want to be single, and maybe you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, it doesn't matter, and you just would like to not be single, never let this depart from in front of your eyes, because you will marry wrong, you'll make a mistake if you think that somehow you meet somebody, they're not in the covenant, oh, but they seem open to it. Okay? Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Oh, well, when we talk about it, they seem okay. I wouldn't go within a 10-foot pole's length, so to speak, of anybody I might be interested in if I didn't know that of their own accord, they had already covenanted without knowing me at all. I don't want to think for a second that they're doing it for me, to get me, to win me over, to be with me. They have to have that vertical relationship first. Okay? Oh, but Rabbi, it's so hard to meet. Don't tell me that. I know. I didn't meet my wife till I was 35 years old. Because I also ended up in an early enough time of being single and at an age where I could have married in my 20s in a belief system very much like this, with a very small pond to fish in, so to speak. Okay? There weren't a lot of people that I could have interacted with that believed like I was believing. I was in a place starting in my 20s of the context of Messiah and Torah. And there were almost nobody I knew that was both, other than in this one little church. Didn't know there was Messianics out there, although most of the Messianics are more Christian than Torah observant, okay? Especially back then, because it was really an outreach arm of the AOG, the Assemblies of God, that started all that, okay, the Messianic Jewish movement in the 60s. So, but just so you know, I know what you feel. I get it, okay? I didn't meet my wife, and I was never married before that, and neither was she. And we both ended up waiting until we finally found each other, and it can take a while. And I can tell you, I didn't like the idea of dating, never wanted to date, I wanted to get married. As soon as I was old enough and thought I could afford to figure it out, I wanted to find that one person and get that area of my life done. I didn't like the whole idea of having to go through different people and try to find that person. I hated it. It was miserable. And what was worse than miserable, and you know this, is if you are dating somebody even for a brief time and then you have to break up. How horrible is that? Now you got all this baggage, and they hate you or you hate them, and the drama is ridiculous. Okay? All right? And so I'm telling you, singles, if they're not in the vine, I'm not even talking about if you could tell if they're a weed or a tear at this point. At least let it look like it looks like a weed. Okay? It looks like at least it's attached to the vine of its own accord for its own reasons, not because of you. I have seen disastrous marriages because the person came into the marriage with a person who said that they were coming into the same belief system. Okay, a real good friend of mine at the time, this is back when I was in my 20s, and I was going to that church, and he met somebody outside who convinced him that they were going to covenant and become Torah observant and everything like that. And then he married her, and as soon as they got married, back to wherever she was before. Wrecked him emotionally. He wasn't able to have any kind of relationships for a long time after that. I think he's in a long-term one now, but he would never get actually married, even though they've been in a committed relationship, because the marriage idea so scares him because of the terrible PTSD he has from that one terrible event. Because this woman wrecked him. Of course, it was his own fault. We all told him, don't do this. Okay? But he wasn't ready to own that. I don't know, since then I'm sure he has, but I'm saying I'm just giving you an example. But I've seen that happen. I've seen a person try to convince the other person, oh yeah, I'm okay with this. And I don't know, okay is not the same as I am passionate about this. This is my life. Okay? Why would you want to spend your life with someone whose life is not his life? I don't understand why you'd want to do that. Why would you want to spend your life every day, all the time with someone who's not focused on him and getting in line with him and doing things correctly according to him? And by the way, without that, if you ever have a problem and if you're not covenanted under a teacher or leader that you both are submitted under, good luck when you have a problem getting both of you to sit down under anybody and both will listen to that person. I have lots of phone calls with people that are unequally yoked, and they're frustrated because they can't get their spouse to sit down with them with me. And I tell them, there's nothing you can do to force that. If they were not in a relationship with me to begin with, they're not going to do it now. So for you single ladies especially, if you are here, I'm going to say this in two ways. For you single ladies out there who maybe are not part of this ministry and just happen to find us today, whatever, do not, absolutely under no circumstance, marry anybody where you're not both under the same authority structure and you both agree and are submitted to that authority. If you are here, if they're not covenanted in a way that they are submitted to have me as their rabbi, as their teacher, as their leader, you're putting yourself at high risk. I'm only saying that because you are here, okay? If you're not here, just whatever you are, be under the same, where you can both go, and that, see, if you are with me and I'm with you and we have a relationship, I can go over to either one of you and say, hey, knock it off, okay? Because I have that relationship with both of you. And that way I can say, wait, I know you. So don't go pointing your finger at the other one so much. I know you too. You need to own your stuff. I can speak much more blunt, much more plain if we have a relationship. Or if you have out there, if you're not with me, but you're with another teacher, that person can speak much more directly, much more straightforward, in a straightforward manner, if you are both under the same person. There's a reason why so many people end up in divorce. Marriage is tough. You need to have covenantal, equally yoked, same teacher things. Otherwise, you don't have the support system and the safety nets that you need. This is important. I know there are those of you that come up to me, but I haven't met anybody yet, and I'm crying and I'm upset, and I just met this wonderful guy, or I just met this wonderful gal, and she's so awesome, or he's so awesome, but they're not where you are. Oh, but they seem, don't tell me what they seem. You can't spend that, but you can get spun into it. They might be on their own journey. Let them get there on their own. If they do it for you, it will go badly. All right? When I met my wife, we were both in the same place because we were there for our own reasons, and then we met each other there. And we have been on the same page vertically the entire 22 years. Okay? And in his mercy, even when I went on a journey that took me all kinds of sideways, he had her see the exact same things on her own so that she would walk with me the entire way. Okay? He's allowed for us to be equally yoked all the time. That's been a blessing. That doesn't mean we haven't had challenges. We're married. See, I told you, if you've never had any challenges, you're not married. Okay? So yeah, we have some of those, but this area has never been a problem. It's never been an issue. We've always been on the same page. We know we have the same standard to live up to. That's always been a big part of keeping us together. Because that's important, and you need to know that. you singles out there. This whole thing in John 15, take this real seriously. It's not just about you. If you're single, it's about who you're going to end up with. You need to know that they're thinking the same thing you're thinking about this stuff. That they're just as serious about Exodus 19, covenanting, and John 15, understanding the vine, the whole garden vine branch relationship. That they get this in terms of the idea of what Torah is, what it's supposed to be, what it means to guard, keep, what the false prophecy teaching is all about. You want to find someone that gets all these things.